Bitcoin's price has finally cracked 46,000. So we're going to do a little bit of technical analysis to see where we can end up, where we got some buying and sell pressure at from the institution. Then we're going to get into some DeFi examples of where we could go with it in the future, how we can interact with it in some possible scenarios with some examples. Then we're going to get into the ETF deadlines because they kick off tomorrow with 21 shares. And then finally, we're going to get into another scam that you need to watch out for. What's good? Welcome back to another episode of Where the Money At. You know we're keeping it rocking and rolling. So let me share my screen and let's get right into it. So let's refresh CoinGecko here. We got Bitcoin sitting at right at 46,000 within the last 7 days, up 2.3%. We got Ethereum at $2,335. BNB at right at $300, Solana at $98, and XRP at 56 cents. Everybody having a little bit of a down week, but you know it is what it is. We've been on a pretty good tear. So let's get into the technical analysis. The first thing I want to point out is the 200-day EMA, where it's starting to curve up. So I'm gonna be honest with you. I've been bearish for the last couple, you know what I'm saying, weeks. But to be honest with you, this right here is concerning me. And I'm actually starting to think I'm ready to flip bullish a little bit. But we do have, I made a little order block here of where we have some buying and selling pressure at, you know, some past resistances, some past supports. And you see we're right here. So we got to see what we're going to do. Are we going to keep this as resistance and start to head down? Or are we going to turn it to support and head higher? But that's not the only thing I want to look at. Let's get into the RSI and the MACD just to look at some momentum indicators, just to see where we could go. And I like to look at these on the weekly and monthly. So the RSI on the weekly is kind of getting to the overbought range. So it may be, as far as this indicator goes, it's kind of telling us we got some room to settle down and head down as far as price action. Kind of the same thing with the MACD. We're up a little bit, but it kind of looks like we're headed towards the end of the momentum of it being positive price action. So it looked like as far as these indicators on the weekly go, telling us, you know, it may be time to calm down a little bit and maybe we'll settle around $30,000, $35,000. But let's look at it on the monthly really quickly. And the RSI on the monthly is kind of in the middle, telling us that we have a little bit more room to head up, which is fine. You know, that's understandable as far as the MACD. So the MACD and the RSI are on the same page for the weeklies and they're on the same page for the monthlies. So what we see here is we have a little bit more room to head towards the upside. So if we're going off the weekly, you know, we could probably come up here and turn, you know, this area into support. I wouldn't bank on it. I've been bearish, but like I said, I showed you the 200 EMA, and I'm starting to get a little bullish. And we do have all the factors that could lead to higher price action, including the ETF kickoffs tomorrow. So let's get into it. Let's go straight to the ETF dates. So we have ARK 21 shares, and the final deadline is January 10th, 2024, which is tomorrow. So this is the first one, and we're going to find out if it's approved, delayed, or denied. So be prepared for some price action either way it goes. Be prepared for the price to go any direction, up, down, sideways. You know what I'm saying? Just be wary because some things could go down tomorrow. But everything else is pretty much March, April, and May, you know what I'm saying, as far as the final deadlines. So we still have BlackRock, Bitwise, VanEck, WisdomTree, Invesco and Galaxy, Fidelity, Valkyrie, Global X, another VanEck, and 21 shares again. So there's a good bit of ETF approvals coming up as the final deadline. So make sure y'all screenshot this, y'all write this down. I'll leave the link below for what it is. So let's get into a little bit of DeFi. Now, this year, I really want to deep dive into DeFi and understand more about it and just try to understand, you know, where the future of banking is going and how we can do banking differently from how we've done it so far, you know? So I'm just going to do that through information and experimentation, you know, finding DeFi protocols to interact with. If I find something that's worth it, I'll let you guys know, but it's really hard recommending something like that. Like we can talk about the coins we like, but I feel like I mean, and these coins can be pretty dangerous as well to throw your money into, but also these DeFi protocols are very dangerous as well. We're kind of early on the security, and I'm gonna get into that a little bit later. So let's just hear this example of this individual. This is a tokenization panel, and he brings up a good point about the possible future of DeFi and ETFs.
This is going to change the concept of store of value, right? And I'll use Wisdom Tree, who's not on here, but where they're tokenizing their ETFs, and you're going to be able to do that. But whatever you're tokenizing, a fund, an individual asset that is a security, the ability for younger people to have their paycheck go directly into an ETF, a precious metals ETF, a 40 Act fund, a mutual fund, an alts fund. And if there is secondary trading in that alts fund on a monthly basis, the ability to put a liquidity facility against that, but then you can put a MasterCard and connect it up to an alts fund. You can connect it up to an ETF. You can connect it up to a.
So basically, he's saying with the ETF coming out in the future, as far as Bitcoin and the altcoins and things of that nature, would you be willing to put a portion of your check directly into it? Like, let's say we get creative with it and you put 3% of your paycheck. Would you be okay with putting 3% of your paycheck into a Bitcoin ETF? And I thought that was extremely interesting because I was like, that makes a lot of sense as far as a possible scenario in the future. And in the next episode, we're going to get into the history of ETFs and why that may be such a great idea, because the ETF space is not that old and it's growing drastically. So that's a very interesting situation. But let me tell you why I'm slow playing getting into DeFi protocols at the moment. DeFi protocol Gamma Strategy suffers an estimated $3.4 million exploit. So let's just look at what it is. Gamma Strategies is a decentralized asset management protocol built on Ethereum. It allows users to deposit funds into pools and earn a return on the investment through the active liquidity management and market making strategies. So long story short, you would pull up a website and you would have your wallet connected to it with some coins or whatever, possibly Ethereum, and you would put your coins into this protocol and lock them in there for a certain amount of time. And in exchange for locking them in there, you get a return, which is the same thing we do with banks. When you take $100 and you put it into a bank, you're locking it into it. They're investing it and making a return on it and giving you a return for having your money with that bank. But the reason why DeFi is so popular and the ideas of what could happen are so extravagant is because the returns you get on a bank account are not that high. And that's where DeFi is trying to come in and add more utility as far as the possibility of higher returns. But like in this, like the story says, the security in DeFi is not there yet. This protocol suffered a $3.4 million exploit. Let me see if I could quickly tell you why. Long story short, with the exploit, the attacker was able to withdraw excessive amounts of tokens. So me and you would put the tokens in there, lock them in there. Some hacker somewhere was able to extract an excessive amount without being actually inside of the protocol, because all these protocols and DeFi platforms and cryptocurrencies, they're just code, which means they are vulnerable to hackers. So that's why I'm slow playing it and I'm giving it a little bit of time before I just hop in there. That's why I'm taking my time this year to educate myself and find the best protocols and figure out what's the possibilities of what we could do. I got another story here. DeFi platform Radiate Capital loses digital assets worth $4.5 million after flash loan attack. So this is another protocol that lost $4.5 million. And here's the scary part about it. If me and you were to put money in there, there's no guarantee that a part of that 4.5 million or that 3.4 million that got lost, that wasn't our assets. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes the protocol locks itself up. If you're in a DeFi protocol and they lock up withdrawals, you know it's a bad situation. You might as well wrap it up. But here's a screenshot of the specific line of code that they exploited. So like I said, all this is just code. So hackers, you know what I'm saying? Like with the advancement of new technologies and things going on online comes the advancement of hackers. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not sleeping, they're not resting, they're trying hard to get into these protocols because it's money there. You know what I'm saying? Like if you look at some of the top protocols, they have millions upon millions locked up in assets under management. So why not, as a hacker, try to go and get some of that? You know what I'm saying? But that's why I'm slow playing it right now. So we talked about the ETF deadlines coming up very soon. The first one pops off tomorrow, 21 shares. Then we talked about DeFi, some things that we could get into in the future of maybe having paychecks go directly into it, or, you know what I'm saying, waiting on the security before we really, really dive into it. And the last thing I want to get into today is we got another scam. Remember that XRP deep fake scam of the CEO that I showed you guys, we got another one. Now, I had the actual video, but YouTube finally took it down. Shout out to them. But someone was able to screen record it. And I just want to show you. It's the CEO of Solana, deep faked. You know, deep fake is taking someone's face and making their mouth move to say the words that you want them to say. And let's just check it out.
So let's kind of play that and see what happens.
Today marks a historic day for us at Solana and for every Sol holder around the globe. In light of these remarkable milestones, and to show our gratitude to the SOL community for your unwavering support, we are excited to announce the Solana's giveaway. Here's how you can enter the giveaway. Find the QR code on your screen and scan it. It will direct you to our official website where you will see further instructions. This giveaway is our way of giving back to the community that has stood by us, believed in our vision, and held Sol through thick and thin.
So these are the type of scams that are out there, and they're getting advanced because that ran as an advertisement before I watched the video. As the guy said earlier in his video, it ran as an advertisement before he watched the video. So basically, that's just the CEO deep faked into making people think that they're having a giveaway, and they flash the QR code. If you send anything to that QR code or even scan it, it might be malware, but I guarantee if you send anything to that code, you're not getting anything back. You just got scammed. You just got robbed. You have to understand what's going on. And then they had the website at the bottom, Solana-X. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just Solana. Well, I think it's Solana.com, but you know, you have to pay attention and be aware of social engineering and have your cybersecurity hat on when you're dealing with these kind of things as far as cryptocurrency, DeFi, anything you're interacting with the web and your money. You have to be very scrutinous. You have to be very suspicious of everything that's going on. But that's a wrap on that. So look, drop a like, drop a comment, and subscribe, man. As always, I appreciate y'all for rocking with me, and I'm gonna holler at y'all.